This is exactly what Magic fans have been waiting for, what they've been hoping for, and we will see come February if it comes to fruition. Will Franz Wagner become a first time All Star this season? Drop a comment below, yes or no. Let me know what you think about the season that Franz is having so far. And in the meantime, let me welcome you all back to the Magic Digest channel. I'm your host, Sam Rodriguez. Happy to be back with you for another video. I hope you all had a fantastic weekend. I definitely did. I actually watched a ton of Magic basketball this weekend. Yesterday, I was at the Osceola game. My husband does stats for the Osceola Magic, so that was really fun to be able to watch the G League team. Unfortunately, I was in attendance for their first loss of the season, so I don't know. Maybe I'm a jinx. I apologize to Osceola if that is the case, but I was also in attendance for the NBA Cup game on Friday where Franz hit those two massive threes in the fourth quarter to pretty much seal the win. If you caught my last short, then you saw some live footage from that game. It was my first time at the Kia Center, so I had a great time, and I can confirm that that Jumbotron is enormous. Like, you don't even need to really watch the action on the court. You can see everything crystal clear on that Jumbotron. So yeah, great weekend for me. Loved all the Magic basketball I got to see. If you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Come on and join this Magic community. We definitely need some more Magic fans here. And if you've been locked in with us, as always, I thank you um for supporting. It's really been a bit of an up and down season so far, but it does seem like the Magic are starting to right the ship. Granted, obviously Paolo's out with that um groin strain, and there's definitely still some kinks that need to be worked out with this team, but it has been heading in a much better direction. Unfortunately, last night's game against the Houston Rockets was the first game of a really tough schedule coming up for the Magic. Let's see here. They have the Golden State Warriors tomorrow. That's obviously going to be tough. Any matchup with the Warriors is tough. The Clippers, despite what their record might look like, they still have ballers on that team. New York, going to be looking for some get back, but they're going to be without Jalen Brunson and OG Anunoby. They just lost to the Miami Heat tonight. So I don't know if they're going to get that get back that they want, but obviously the Orlando Magic still need to play all four quarters. And then they have Boston and Philly. So yeah, tough schedule, and it's unfortunate because the Magic really let that one go last night. That was definitely a game that they could have won to kind of start um this particular string of games off correctly. Just as a quick recap, if you weren't watching, the Magic were pretty much winning that game the entire game up until that fourth quarter. That's where things really started to unravel a bit. It was tied at 100 um with about 3 seconds left. The Magic got really lucky. KD tripped, and Anthony Black was able to come up with the steal and the dunk. And then Shengun just completely foolishly fouls him. I don't know why he did that, but of course, missed free throws just continue to haunt this Magic team. It drives me absolutely bonkers. The missed free throw would have put them up three, likely would have ended the game. Who's to say? But Shingun then came up with a really clutch bucket right over JI with a second left, sends the game to overtime, and Houston walks away with the win. Um, I don't know about you guys. I'm not really much of a moral victories kind of gal. Um, but there were some encouraging signs. I'm not gonna like just be all doom and gloom, especially without Suggs, without Paolo against a really tough Houston team, right? They have the number one offensive rating in the league. They score about 123 points per 100 possessions, and the Magic only held them to 102 in regulation. So shout out to them for that. But one of the most encouraging signs for this Magic team continues to be Franz Wagner, who is having himself quite the stretch. Um, may he never take that mask off. Really, really loving masked Wagner. I think somebody in the comments mentioned calling him the Boogie Monster instead of Franz Boogie. So I kind of like that. We could rock with that for a bit. But in that game last night, he had 29 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. Could have been a little more efficient, but a huge game from Franz. We'll talk about that fourth quarter a little later, but as you can see here, he was considered to be one of the Eastern Conference Players of the Week. So he's just been balling the way he's been playing, the way he plays, period. There's just a very strong case for Franz to be an all star this year. But there's also the added changes to the um, all star format. Now, before I get into the format itself, I wanted your guys' thoughts on what I'm about to say next. So I like the new concept. Like I said, I'll tell you in a minute. But I feel like I get more and more annoyed each year. The more we tinker with the All Star game, I really liked the Elam ending. And I don't know why they went away from that because I feel like everybody complains about the All Star game every single year. And Adam Silver just kind of like is trying to figure out a way to make it successful again, to sort of bring back the level of competition that there was back when, but I just don't think the players really view it that way anymore, right? Back then, the All-Star game was guaranteed to play on national television, so those guys were, of course, being more competitive, and now there are just so many opportunities to play on national TV, so that's just not as big of a priority anymore. Um, and I feel like the players just look at it as a break, as a chance to chill, as a chance to network and do their brand activations and party and just really use it as a break from the season. Not to mention, I don't think anybody wants to go super hard and risk getting injured. So I don't know. I think maybe it's just on us to kind of just adjust our attitude towards what the All-Star game is supposed to be, what it's supposed to look like. I don't know. Drop a comment, let me know what you think about it, and let me know what you think about the new format, which I will show you now. The format is going to consist of 3 teams, which will have at least 8 players. 2 of those teams will be US teams, and the third is going to be a world team. So, that being said, right off the bat, we can assume the starting 5 of these world players, right? Luka, Jokic, Shea, Giannis, and likely Wemby. However, on that note, news did just break that Wemby is going to be out with a calf strain, so that will likely keep him out for quite a bit. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on. But who else is out there for Team Worlds that would give Franz some competition? There's Shengun, who is a beast. Although shout out to the Magic for holding him to 11 for 31 last night. Josh Giddey is having a fantastic year, and the Bulls started off really hot. They kind of trailed off a bit, although they did just get a huge win against the Denver Nuggets just a little while ago. Lauri Markkinen, we have Denny Avdia. I saw Jamal Murray on some of the lists regarding these all stars, but I for sure think Franz is going to be more deserving of an all star spot over Jamal specifically. That's no shade to Jamal Murray either. I have loved Jamal ever since that bubble duel against Donovan Mitchell when he was with Utah. Epic. But again, like I said, regarding the teams, it's a minimum of 8 players. So if there happens to be more world players, for example, who get voted in, Adam Silver will just pick all stars to round out the team. So they have an even number. But the point is, right, is that if Franz continues to play at the level he's been playing, I see no reason why he doesn't end up an all star, right? And this has been in the works. A lot of people thought he would have been an all-star last season had he not got injured. Um, before that torn right oblique, every time I say that, I think it's absolutely insane that him and Paolo suffered like the same injury in the same season. Also, that just sounds incredibly painful. I don't know how these basketball players do it truly, but anyway, that injury kept him out 20 games. He came back just a few weeks before All Star. He was averaging a career high 24.4 points, 5.7 assists, and 5.6 rebounds per game. And in those weeks right before he got injured, he scored 30 or more points in 3 straight games. That was tied for the longest streak of his career and tied for the longest streak by a Magic player in the last 10 seasons. Insane, right? So, who's to say again if he would have been an all-star last year, but he's definitely putting together a very similar season so far. You can see his stats here. He's averaging 23 points, 6 rebounds, a little less than 4 assists. His free throw attempts are up a fair amount. He's averaging over 7 attempts. But the number that's standing out to me, because we talked so much about it here on Magic Digest, is that 3 point percentage. He's averaging 35.7% so far this season. That is the second best percentage of his career, which was 36% in his sophomore year. As we talked about after that season, his 3 point shooting severely fell off, right? Falling below 30% in the last 2 seasons. So we love to see that from Franz, and he's definitely letting them fly, which I love to see as well. And Franz's improved 3 point shooting is like such a huge positive for this team. It's a best case scenario for him. It's crazy to me that the way that season has started with Desmond Bain essentially almost forgetting how to shoot, although thank goodness he is looking more and more like the Desmond Bain we know by the game. Tyus Jones, who's a 40% career 3 point shooter, just being a complete non-factor. And then obviously like Paolo getting injured. Paolo's not shooting well from three at all. It is really like Franz has just really, really picked up um the slack for this team. He's really sort of putting the team um on his back here, doing everything that he can to lift up this team. Another interesting stat though that I saw today, Franz is top 3 in transition shooting percentage among players with 25 plus attempts, right? You can see there he shoots 73.5% in transition. Two of the others are Anthony Black and Paolo, funnily enough. Uh Go figure, the Magic are elite essentially in transition, and yet are ranked 20th in offensive rating. So their half court offense is a bit of a mystery. And it's something I really want to keep my eyes on. Maybe I'll do a breakdown around, let's give it to the All Star break to see if this offensive rating improves. But I definitely want to do a breakdown of that, see as the team starts to gel, as Jalen Suggs comes back on a more permanent basis, as Paolo comes back, and these guys just hopefully figure it out. We'll do a breakdown of that, so stay tuned. But back to Franz, coming off that Eurobasket display, where he was named to the top 5 All-Star team, and to be honest, I think he probably should have been MVP over Schroeder, but Schroeder fans don't come for me. Franz really came into this season with that same energy. Like I said, the season has been up and down, very shaky to start, very inconsistent, trying to work Desmond Bain and inconsistencies with the players on the floor. um, Franz is Franz is doing it all. He's putting the team on his back. Um, I will say one of my main criticisms of Franz this season has been his lack of aggression in the second halves of games. And I think that's been getting better, but last night was another example of that. He was essentially a non-factor in the fourth quarter. I want to see the ball in Fran's hands in the fourth quarter, in those clutch moments when it's time, when things are getting rough and it's time to, get buckets. I want to see Franz sort of take over the game. So I just want to see the full 4 quarters from Franz on display on a more consistent basis. But essentially, this is an all star Franz campaign in full effect. Here, he will be an all star. We are manifesting that here on Magic Digest. First time all star for Franz. Although I'm very curious how this works with Paolo Banchero, because I was going to say it would be really cool to see Franz and Paolo go against each other. But Paolo can technically play for World as well. I believe. I don't know exactly how that works, but that would be interesting. Anyway, let me know what you guys think again about the season that Franz is having. Let me know if there's any concerns about his game that you see maybe preventing him from becoming an all-star. Let me know what else you want us to talk about here on Magic Digest. Like I said, stay tuned for a Tyus Jones video. I know that name is a little triggering for some fans right now, but we're gonna cover the season that Tyus Jones is having and maybe some potential trades if we can find any out there tomorrow. As always, make sure you're subscribed to the Magic Digest channel, and I will catch you all next video.